Hello, everyone. I'm Whitney Ortiz, host of the Whole Health series. I'm so grateful to Toju Duke for being with us. Tojo is the product lead for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, and the responsible AI program manager at Google. She has over 15 years of experience that spans across advertising, retail, not-for-profits, and technology. With a proven track record in business success and project management, she is the project manager for Women in AI Ireland and Black and Brilliant AI Solutions. She's a mentor to many tech startups and the founder of Raythan. Tojo is also a public speaker, and she advocates for transparent and bias-free AI aimed at reducing systemic injustices and furthering equality. She is a strong advocate for gender diversity across the workplace with a particular focus on tech. Thank you so much, Tojo, for being with us.
Thank you very much, Whitney. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And as you are a leader within the tech industry who supports many other women leaders to rise within the industry, what is an overarching message that you have for them as we all emerge into this new year and indeed new era?
Yeah, I think the very first thing I'll just say is, being more self-aware, taking time to sit down and have some form of self-reflection on a constant basis. So this year has been a tough year for everyone. Our whole lives have changed. It's worse for some and it's been better for some in a way. I think what's come out of it that I've seen, speaking with a few friends and even for myself, is just being able to stop all the running around, all the traveling that we've been doing, even the commute to the office and back. And that time that we've been saved or we've been able to save by stopping has allowed us to think about what's more important to us. And I think we shouldn't let the likes of 2020 and COVID-19 force us to stop and to think. So I do think it's really important to always have self-reflection, self-awareness, which is a key component of emotional intelligence, which we know is really critical for every leader to have. Yeah. And being able to just stop and just think about, how do you feel right now? How am I feeling? Process your thoughts. It's the end of the year. Usually at the end of the year, a lot of people tend to try and process and do a review of the past year. And that's how New Year resolutions come about, beyond, going to the gym to lose all the 20 pounds that was added during Christmas. And, going beyond that is, how do I feel even beyond, the usual, it's the end of the year, we need to self-reflect. How do I feel right now? Am I happy? Am I sad? I'm not sure how I feel. And I believe it's something that we should do on a constant basis. Now, the good thing with self-reflection and self-awareness is it helps you, mindfulness is one of those things as well, where, there's so many different techniques of self-reflection. Mindfulness is one, but it helps you evaluate your current state and understand what you can improve or what you can do better or what you need to drop. And once you do that, it re-energizes you. You get rejuvenated. You get more forward-looking and more happy about the next day. And in the midst of working, especially tech is a fast-moving driveway. It's always fast. It's always moving really quickly. So many things are coming up. So many new products. There's so much news in the media. There's so many things being hit at you that you can get carried away, and you can just go with the tide and forget who you are, forget your purpose, forget why am I doing this. And especially for women, we go through so many other things outside work, even in our physical state. We go through the monthly periods, if we've not hit menopause, and even if we have, we still have hormonal changes. And beyond that, emotionally as well, we're really in tune with our emotions. We tend to feel things a little bit more. And sometimes we just have so many other things pulling at us. If you have kids, your family, your parents, your siblings, a partner, so many other things. And how do we balance all of this with work? I believe one of the very first steps is self-awareness. And I can give two stories now, two real life stories. The first one is of a woman who, during COVID, working hard and everything, and suddenly found out she was pregnant, unplanned, totally unplanned pregnancy. But at the same time, she had been bleeding. And she didn't know what was going wrong, went to the doctors, did a few series of tests, and within 5 to 6 days, found out the pregnancy was ectopic and she needed to take a chemo drug to get rid of the pregnancy. And she did that. And her body went through different, war zones, right? The body still thought she's pregnant. The chemo drug was literally killing her body. And, she had to take time off work eventually, right? She knew, I can't deal with what's going on right now with my physical body and my mental state, because she was so confused. She's like, I don't know what's going on. I just found out I was pregnant on Sunday. And by Thursday, I've been told I have to get rid of this baby. But what this woman did was she made sure she just stopped. She couldn't access her emotions. She was in shock. Her physical body was in turmoil, but she stopped. Took time off work and said, I can't deal with work right now. Whatever is happening at work, it will have to wait. I'm going to prioritize myself and my mental health till I get better before I go back to work. Now, the second story is of a woman again who gave birth this time, had a baby, who had been waiting for years to have a baby and eventually had a baby and was so excited. I'd read all the books about pregnancy and how to take care of your little baby and all of that. And baby came out, beautiful, handsome, bouncing baby boy. And all of a sudden, she was hit with the emotions of, how do I take care of this little thing? How do I prioritize this little thing above everything else? I don't know what to do. This is a whole life that has been given to me. And she slowly fell into postpartum depression without realizing it. But she didn't stop. She kept on going. And the moment her maternity leave was over, in 6 months, she went back to work and just hit the ground running, put her head down, and kept on working and working and working and going through all the things. And there's a big project coming up and I have to deliver it. And it took her about a year or two to realize that she was actually depressed, when she was able to finally get in tune with her emotions and understand that she was actually sad and not happy. And she couldn't see the beauty in the world anymore. She couldn't hear the birds chirping. She wasn't happy about anything. She was getting bitter and sad, and she had to stop. Now you can see the difference in the same scenarios, on the two different scenarios, but very similar because it had to do with childbirth. And I'll actually say the first person was me this year. I went through that. But what I made sure I did was to stop. And I'm so glad I did, because if I kept on going, I probably won't be talking today. I would have just been a real mess. And I tried to process my emotions. I spoke to a counselor, but I made sure I was not going to prioritize work over my life, over my health, over my family. I knew I had to be present, not just for work, but for my kids as well, and for my partner. And if I wasn't going to be able to prioritize that time to heal, I knew that the after effects and the healing process would be much, much longer. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I stopped. I'm glad I took 5 weeks off. I even pushed my time off work a little bit more because I knew I wasn't ready. Physically, emotionally, I just said, I can't come back yet. And the moment I came back, I was able to bring my full self back into work. I came with a different perspective. I sometimes forget that even happened to me until when we start reflecting about the year and people are like, oh, the year was quite good for you. And I was like, I went through my own personal challenges that you didn't know about, but it wasn't great for me, but I made sure that I dealt with that situation there and then and moved on. So I think it's really important, to just make sure that whatever we go through in life, either at work or at home, we sit down, stop, and reflect. And we need to do this on a very constant basis.
Oh, definitely. First, just take a moment and hold space for you and your baby and just your whole family, sending love. And your sharing so personally it gives permission to others to be real and to acknowledge that, yes, there's some really hard, darkest moments that happen all the time for people, right? And to acknowledge that in others, when you have the interactions at work, at home, you sometimes don't know what's beneath the surface, right? And just as you had said your colleagues had said, oh, it looks like you've been having this great year. And in reality, there is like a really dark and deep and hard thing that has been happening. And that's something that will be with you always, right? And I speak as a mom of a daughter who passed as well. And I know just from my own, everybody's situation is unique and different. And it's a very important point to be compassionate with yourself and with others. You just have, we have no idea what's been going on in the lives of others. And as women who have naturally very caring, empathetic, and compassionate ways, and as women leaders within the workplace, to give permission to another to say, you got to take some time. You got to just be there for yourself, take time away from the work. And I think as more women rise in leadership across sectors, right, it's so important to reach out that hand to another woman and then create that culture and to change the way that it otherwise has been done when you're supposed to just push through. And that's what expected of you, just kind of like push aside the hard and to accomplish, right? And as things are changing so fast within the tech world, as you say, there is so much innovation happening. There's so many demands on those who work within the big companies like Google. How do you say to women nowadays to be able to manage through it all with all the
Yeah.
changes going on inside and then in a business and a company, in society? What is
Yeah.
your guidance, if you have a few words?
Yeah. I think the very first thing I'll say on that one is just prioritize. And it's something I've learned to do throughout my career, and it's something that teaches as well a lot in Google. Prioritize your time, prioritize your work. Your time is crucial. It's absolutely important. And in a very fast moving world as tech, you can fall into the trap of just working, 100 hours per week without anyone asking you to, because you want to deliver. You have this pressure on yourself to deliver, to have a good performance review. And it's a bit more tough for women as well, because we're minorities in the industry. 30% of women in tech, of people in tech are women, and we have 70% that are men. So it's very hard to feel that you're being recognized for the work that you do. And because of that, we tend to work extra hours. What I'll say in that case is, don't be too hard on yourself, and you've already said that with me. Cut yourself some slack, but at the same time, have a very good plan. I always say it's good to be a bit more strategic about what you do and a bit more intentional. Know where you want to go, in your career as a leader. Right? What do you want to achieve, and what are the steps that you need to get there? Who are the people that you need to fight for you? It's good to have advocates in your workplace, people who you know will speak for you even when you're not there. But before you get to that, you have to have built a very good reputation for yourself. You have to be very good at what you do, right? And it could just be one skill set. And when I say one, I don't mean just, but just one skill set that you're so good at that anytime they mention that skill set or they mention you, they remember you for that skill set. For example, project management. That's a simple, well-known one that is really needed across any different organization you're working for. Are you very good at project management? And if that's not your strength, then what is your strength? Could it be coding skills if you're an engineer? Or could it just be organization, like, events planning? You're very good at planning an event, and you're very good at organizing socials for the team. Whatever it is, make sure that you're so good at it that if you're not there at the table, you have 2 or 3 people that can vouch and say you do a very good job at it. And even when you're not there as well, you've been able to set up a work framework that it can carry on even in your absence. So you could have started a project, you couldn't finish it because you decided to prioritize your health or whatever it is that got you out of it. But you put it in such a place that even when the project's finished in your absence, you still get the credit for it because you have done such a great job, and people really understand who you are and they love what you do. So that's still around prioritization, right? But being strategic around it so that, you know, these are your top key goals that you want to achieve for the quarter or for the year. This is how you need to get there. And these are the people who will fight for you and help you achieve those goals.
Sounds like you're bringing out like the need to search for advocates as well as you're specializing within key areas so that you're known for it's your personal brand within the brand, right? As you're talking about women leadership within tech, which is so relevant to other sectors as well. And what kind of leadership qualities are you finding in working with and for other women within the sector that you think is so important for us all to focus on embodying for ourselves in our professional and our personal lives moving forward?
Yeah, authenticity is a very strong one.
Mm.
It's really key to be yourself, be
Mhm.
authentic. And it still ties into the previous point I made in terms of, you know, people knowing you for a certain skill set.
Mhm.
If you build your personal brand and build it very strong, let it still be you. Be unique, be different. You know, if your name is Jane, don't try to be Jude. Just be Jane, but be your special Jane. Believe in yourself. I think it's really important. And it still ties in with, you know, how do you see yourself? How do you understand your stress zones and your stress triggers? And how do you react to them? How do you react to situations that happen in your environment on a constant basis? Because once you know that, you know, back to being self-aware, then you know that these are my unique key strengths that I can bring forward anytime I'm at the table. And these are the weaknesses that I have that I can work on. But when you build your personal brand on your key strengths and people know you for that, and they know that you're being honest and real, then you're authentic and people respect authenticity.
Mhm.
People don't like, no one likes a false life. I mean, some people leave that and they get away with it. But when you interact with people, because you know, no one was made to live in an island, we're all very social. But when you interact with people in that social hemisphere, they want to interact with you, they connect with you and who you are. And no matter how different you are, as long as you're unique and you are yourself, they will like you for that. And once they like you, they'll be advocates. And at the same time, you know, you'll be able to build your support network around the same people. So when you're authentic and you have a strong support network, it also helps as well. So all these points, all time, you know, we have the self-awareness, prioritization, being known for your skill set, being authentic, having a support network, and being self-aware. It's all like a cyclical pattern.
Mhm. Well, thank you so much. And how can people follow you, your work, otherwise engage with you moving forward?
Right now I'm just on LinkedIn. I haven't done much work on a website yet. That's on the plan. But if you just look for me on Toju Duke on LinkedIn, I accept every request, and you can get to see some of the work that I've done.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your tremendous wisdom with us and some very key, specific, practical guidance for moving into the new year, new era for women in tech and across various other sectors. Thank you so much, Tojo.
Thank you very much, Whitney, and all the best to everything.
Thank you, too.